Today, I want to give you a brief introduction to the topic of the grammatical cases in German. Many German learners often have problems with this at first, and personally, I have the impression that some of them quickly get stuck and overcomplicate things. But as I said, this is only meant to be an introduction. In the next videos, I will go into more details about the individual cases. There are many ways to approach this topic, but let's start with the verbs. We have already learned some verbs in the last videos. Verbs are the words that express an activity or an action, and we have to conjugate them. We can think of verbs as the script of a play. A script tells us how many actors or actresses we need and what role each of them plays. There are plays in which we only need one actor or actress. Then there are plays in which there are two actors or actresses. And then there are plays in which there are even 3 actors or actresses. Let's take the verb gehen as an example. This verb assigns only one role. I have one person performing an action, namely gehen. This person is the subject of the sentence, and in this case we are talking about the case nominativ. For example, I can say ich gehe or der Mann geht, but I cannot say ich gehe den Mann or der Mann geht mich. The verb gehen has only one role to assign. Every verb always has at least one role to assign, namely the subject. And the subject will determine what ending we have to add to the verb. Other verbs assign 2 roles. Take the verb brauchen, for example. I can say ich brauche Geld or meine Nachbarin braucht Hilfe. I can even say ich brauche dich. In the first sentence, the actors are I, the subject, and money, the object. In the second sentence, they are my neighbor, the subject, and help, the object. And in the third sentence, they are I, the subject, and you, the object. In this case, our verb script tells us that we definitely have to assign 2 roles. Otherwise, the play is incomplete. After all, I can't say ich brauche or meine Nachbarin braucht without someone immediately asking me, what? What do you need? What does she need? Verbs that assign 2 roles are called verbs with an object in accusative. So, in addition to the subject, we have a direct object, that is, the accusative object, which is connected to the subject by the verb. And then there are verbs that assign 3 roles. A typical example is the verb geben. As always, we have a subject. But when I say ich gebe, we immediately notice that something is missing in our play. Even if I say ich gebe dir, we will still be missing something. Only when all 3 roles are filled does the sentence make sense. For example, ich gebe dir den Schlüssel. In this case, we are talking about Dativ, or the indirect object. With verbs in this constellation, the indirect object in Dativ is usually a person, and the direct object in accusative is often an object, or let's say a thing. There are also verbs with Dativ that only assign 2 main roles. For example, helfen. As always, we need the subject and an object in Dativ for these verbs. Over time, you will memorize which verbs require which case. And then there is the case called genitiv. The genitiv or genitive attribute shows us who or what someone or something belongs to. To help us distinguish between the different actors, our words, and understand what role they are playing, we use articles and pronouns, which change depending on the role the word is playing in the sentence. In addition to verbs, there are also prepositions that require a specific case. This means that we also have to modify the articles or pronouns after a preposition. Well, I'm sure this feels like a lot to take in right now, but seriously, don't worry. As I said, this is just an introduction to several topics that would take you weeks to learn in a German class. In the next videos, I will go into detail about each individual case, so just take it step by step.